And well, hey everybody, it's Romania Black, and we are on episodes 31 and 32, or 5 and 6 of Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War arc. I believe it's 5 and 6 of this core 3, but what a core it's been so far. Oh my god. So last week we had a big old lengthy discussion about Ukitake and the arm of the Soul King and Uryu facing Ichigo, and there's been so much added content, and I'm really excited for that because as I talked about last week, this volume's got some parts that I was like, they need more. And I thought at the time when I was reading the manga 10 years ago, I was like, it needs more. And Ukitake was a great example of Kubo being like, we'll give you what you want. Which it always made me really intrigued because Kubo is so good at flashbacks. And so in the manga, to not get the flashback with Ukitake, and I don't know if Kubo just thought the pacing would be off or what, but it paid off in the anime. It paid off in the anime this last week. So I'm very intrigued to see, since we've had all this extra with Uryu added and everything, like what we're going to get. Where's it going to go? So I guess we'll find out. But I've got some comments before we dive in. Robinson Badette for episodes 28 and 27, along with Be Happy, said Ryukin is a pure-blooded Quincy, the etched Quincy. He is not affected by Ashwaulan, and Uryu is affected because his mother was not a pure-blooded Quincy. If Ryukin had gotten with Masaki and they'd had a kid, then that kid probably wouldn't have been affected by Ashwaulan as well, but thus. I guess that's why Ichigo wasn't affected by Ashwaulan. I guess that's why, because at that point they were in the Gigai, and at that point maybe the Soul Reaper stuff overpowers it. I guess that's why he wasn't affected. They don't really talk about that. They just, I mean, technically Ichigo's half Quincy, so, and he's, you know, half pure-blooded Quincy, and Uryu's half pure-blooded Quincy, so I guess because Ishin is no Quincy, it's kind of like it's not enough. Maybe it's like a carrier gene. My mother raises corgis, and corgis have like 3 carrier coat genes, where they either have like a fluffy coat, where they're like, they have the double coat, and that double coat never sheds, which Ruby on the channel here with me, she's a double coat, she's a fluffy. And then Huckleberry is like a traditional coat where there's like no chance of him being fluffy ever. And Ruby is all fluffy. So if they had babies, which they've had a litter of puppies together at one time, all of those babies, none of them were fluffy, but they all had the gene to be fluffy. So they were carriers of the gene. So I guess Uryu is a carrier since he's like a, you know, he's got a purebred Quincy and then a like carrier Quincy. So he's a carrier himself. Or also a full blood. You get what I'm saying. Whereas Ichigo, there was no chance of him having the Quincy. Why am I comparing these characters to corgis? Anyway, that's my rationale and reasoning behind it, so we'll just go with it. But anyway, thank you for pointing that out, Badette. I'm waiting for Ryukin to do something. I'm like, have you been preparing? Have you noticed your son's not there? I know you're a doctor, you got busy hours, but have you noticed he's gone MIA? Sir, we'll talk about Ryukin, I'm sure, next core. But we're not there yet. Alex Johnson for episodes 27 and 28, along with Jack Witt and Be Happy, they all said that Yhwach only has 3 eyes in the flashback when we saw him with Ichibei. Though, in the addition, Uryu's eyes periodically turning red does seem like it means something. We think. It's pretty fun that no one really knows how all this is going to end, since a lot of things have been changing from the manga. That is really cool. I do appreciate that. I like that if you're a manga reader, it's going to be interesting to see how things go down in Core 4, because it's like, well, how is this going to get handled, and are they going to change things up? So it genuinely does add like you need to watch the anime because you need to see if things are going to change. Like, I like that. I like that a lot. And then the Soul King has 4 pupils rather than 3 because his version of the Almighty is superior to Yhwach's. Yeah. And that's something too to talk about Yhwach's character. Yhwach, the last several episodes has been like, well, I'm almighty and this is me and da 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 da. But then like the fact that your dad has more than another eye than you, like maybe you shouldn't discount him completely, but we'll see. Jack Witt for episodes 27 and 28 said Core 3 had more original content than Cores 1 and 2 combined, with Core 4 set to have even more. Look, Core 1 and Core 2, I don't feel like they needed to have a lot of extra content because those cores were pretty solid in the manga. Core 3 and Core 4, Romania's list of things that she wasn't happy with, they're all from Core 3 and the Core 4. So they need the extra content. They need, if you're a Bleach fan from the One Manga Forum days, it's needed. And I'm really excited to see what they give us. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then Be Happy says for episodes 27 and 28, we started this core with a long recap that wasn't there randomly because 9 minutes are to emphasize the 900 years, 90 years, 9 years to reclaim his abilities, and 9 minutes to reclaim his eyes. I did not take that into account during the discussion. I remember commenting on it being like, well, this recap's only about 9 to 10 minutes long. The 9-minute thing is genius. I actually love that. I think that's actually really clever. And I give Studio Pro starting the entire season off, the core off, with a 9-minute recap specifically to tie into the theme of 9. I'm here for that. I can excuse that. That's deliberate and I appreciate it. They also said, so Be Happy as well as Jack Witt and a couple others were talking about this. I told Be Happy I was very, very nervous because I'm afraid people are going to spoil things and I don't want them to spoil things because I deliberately have not reread the manga because I want to be somewhat surprised during my reactions because I don't know exactly how much new content will be added or where it will be added at. So I don't want to reread the manga until after we watch the anime and then we can use it for the discussion. But she said Uryu's shrift is A, but it was never mentioned that he also shares the Almighty. He shares the letter A, but, which is a compliment of Yhwach to show his status as heir, but his power is different. And I want that to remain a mystery until we know for sure exactly what's going down. People have been like, he's using his powers versus Shutaru. And I'm like, duh, stop telling me. That's called spoiling. Let me find out on my own, genuinely, as a reactor, y'all. So anyway, I've really been excited by all the new content, and I'm excited to see what they add in this, but we have 2 episodes that we need to dive into. Now that Ichigo's been, has half of his side gone, what are we going to do with that? Where's Orihime and Chad? What are we going to do now? Is our, Quincy posse just going to, have a party? We need to find this out. All right, so we are not going to waste any more time. We are going to dive into Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War arc, episodes 31 and 32, and we are going to get this party started here in 3, 2, 1. And let's go. Ooh, I turned down my headphones. Ah! All right. Oh, I also want to make sure that the headphones... Oh, thank God we've turned the subtitles on. Yeah, that's not good. Oh, shit. Oh! Oh, well. Ew! Ew! It's like the rest of Mimihagi. Oh my God. Ew. Oh no, it's Yhwach. It looked kind of like Mimihagi. Well, I guess technically it is part of it. Hey, it's them! Ew! Ew, they're like little piranhas! Oh my God! Oh, of course, Hisagi! Ew! Nice! Ew, how gross! They're anything but beautiful. They are kind of so ugly they're cute, though. Speaking of beautiful. Nani? The most infamous of sounds in an anime. Oh. Oof. Oh, that's so gross. Oh. They animated Rukia amazing. Oh. is back, y'all. The daddy has returned. What is Milk Sand Drag Race? Daddy's home. Oh my god. I gotta turn it up just a little bit so I can hear Eisen better. I love that Eisen's like, I'm not gonna have any of these cute things in my presence. Oh, Shunsui. Just get your bisexual flowers in your hat. I love the glass with Basby and Hushvald, the angst, the gay angst of it all. Ah! If I had been in college when this anime came out, the color spotting, like 20-year-old Romania would have freaked out. Would have freaked out because I'm all into the color spotting. Mayuri with the other arm? I don't remember that. So that's gonna be interesting. It's just like like a big glowing ray of magma coming out of Ichigo's sword. Love it. Omelette Yhwach! Omelette du fromage. Richie's like, all that work to put this man away! And here he is! Oh, Kisuke, would you like to make out, Kisuke? And talk our intellectual things? Yeah, you should talk. Oh. Wow. Yes. Ooh. Shinsui's like, we ain't got time for that. Let me tell you something about honor. Here we go. Ooh, we're gonna get into this. Now, how about letting me free, please? Let me out of this chair, please. No! You're stuck with Chair-sama. Yada, yada. I mean... Yes, exactly. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Damn, Shunsui, you're vicious! Vicious! Oh, he's a piece of work. I love Shunsui in this. Oh. Oh. Oh, I love Hotto 90. Yes, get it. Well, yes. What other options do we have? Ooh! Oh, don't give that Bleach talk. What do you know? Quite the chair. Oh. Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm. Oh. Well. Oh. Oh. Oh! Eisen's like, you bitches should have let me up there! Oh. Damn! Them yowie hands, Shunsui! Eisen's like, you let that stuffed animal go in there before me? Oh. Ah, he looks so good there. He looks so good there. Oh my God. Huh. Oh. Eisen's like, I hate all of you. Oh. Oh my God, Eisen, seriously. Oh. Oh, no, 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 no. We all would like to see that happen, but... Oh. Oh, here we go. Oh, poor little Tato. Mmm. Great! Oh. Urahara's like, Kay, don't have to tell me twice. Well, shit. Giselle's there. Zombies! Oh my God, I love her. Maybe you could help us out. Let's all work together. Shensui's like, I'm in the mood to work with everyone today. Oh, yes, of course. Shensui's like, I hate that. Oh. Hello. I like the eyebrow guy. Uh-huh. Fair. I got a score cell with my boyfriend. Shunsui's like, my, how this works. Ugh, they're so creepy, but they're kind of cute. I would have a little chibi plush of a little Yhwach bobe. Man, that's such a cool Hotto. I love that Hotto. Ah, the boots! The freaking boots! Oh my god. Also, Akon Icon. Love him. Grimjow. Oh my god. Oh my god. Aw. Aw. I'm glad he's okay. Yes, Kurmadani. Hey. I love Nemu's outfit. And these two. Aww. I feel like Shino's related to Madarame, correct? They have the same last name. Aww. Nice. Also, I need more of Urahara and Akon working together. Mayuri's like, bye, bitches! Ew, the feet! Why is it like a foot fetish? Okay. Hey! Oh, Kenpachi, honey. Oh, sweetheart, honey. Oh. Uh-huh. Ooh. Ooh. She's like, oh, thank God that worked. Oh, thank God he listened. That just feels like Mayuri just pulling off that he has a foot fetish in front of all of us. Oh, I just love they got Shinji's hair. Hmm. Yeah, we don't know where they are exactly. All right. I just want more with Basby and Renji, please. He's like Bill Pullman at Independence Day. Ah! Stop! The fact that Ukitake is still there. We will reclaim our Independence Day! He literally is like Bill Pullman. I love it. Hey! Look at him. Oh! Shunsui, my love. Okay. Hey! There she is! Ah! Ah! Oh my god. They really are like siblings. Oh, yep. We're connected all together. Yes. Oh. Oh. Love this. Mmm. Mmm. Interesting. I was waiting for it to be like, where's Eyes in all this? As you can see, I'm stuck in this chair. You're kidding, right? For 5 minutes. Oof. Oh, he's so ashamed. I love the guitar here. Okay. Insane in the membrane. Ah! He's like, oh, don't get worked up, soy phone. You knew this was going to happen. Ah, there we go. Uh-huh. Oh. I'd still hate that Ukitagi's down there. Oh. Oh. All right. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Ironic. Oof. Ah, hey! Aw! My dogs are going crazy. Oh, shit! Aw! Girl, relatable! Relatable. Yes. Okay, good. Mm. Oh my god! No! Bitch! Please, we wish you would. Of course he did. Oh my god. Aww. 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 Yhwach. Nice. Been a while. Mm. They didn't answer the question of if you betrayed them or not. Oh, y'all been waiting for it. Y'all been waiting. Oh, bitch! Yes, please. Yes, please. It's about damn time. It's about damn time. It's about damn time. I do like this CD a lot. My dogs were like going crazy. There might have been somebody that went by. Oh, the flames with Hoshwald. Oh my god. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, the fact that Ukitake is still just sitting there, just like, ugh. I cannot. I cannot. Oh my god. I'm excited to get into the manga because we are finally starting to tie things together, which is so good. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right. Oh, and all the eyes. Yes, the little eyeballs. Oh. Just over. Ew. Oh, shit. Yeah, all the eyes are pretty creepy. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. The Holy Newborn. Okay. That's a great one of the three of them. Hell yeah. Nice. Nice. There is someone like working on some stuff outside my house, making some noise, like they're scraping on some stuff. So if you hear my dogs barking, that is why. But I've got more ice and I am ready to go. And we're going to start episode 32 of Bleach Thousand Year Blood War Arc. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. I'm getting Aizen and Grimjow in the same episode. I'm like, I wanted to use Aizen for the screenshot, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. It's like, just, oh my god. Okay, here we go. We're finally getting this. So, in Dragon Ball Z, do you remember the spirit bombs? Giselle's like, yay! I wonder if Giselle can use the spirit energy from the zombies, but would they have spirit energy the same way? Interesting. Oh my god. What is this? Oh shit. Well, that's not good. Ugh. Oh. Aizen's like, I wanted to be the one doing interior decorating. Oh my god. We just want to build one measly gate! I mean, Shinji, you're saying it. Is Mayuri's coke nail his middle finger? Really? Yes, please, before things get crazy. Shinji looked amazing there, to be quite honest. Oh, I really do love the OP a lot. The visuals are so good too. And there's the spirit bombs. Oh, Renji, honey. Basby taking out his gay aggression on the screen. Aizen's like, you will never see me naked, friends. Nice. Okay, so Grimjow versus Askin. That's gonna... I think I do remember that. I don't remember this with Nanao's sword. Ah. Mm-hmm. Ugh. The omelet himself. Oh, I'm so excited to have Suabe voicing. Suabe, they told me Suabe voiced Grimjow, and I've been excited ever since. Freaking love Suabe voicing Grimjow. Hell yeah. Look at him. Look at him. Yo. He sounds like Almine from Croco's Basketball. Oh, the boots and the skinny jeans. Hell yeah. You're damn right. You're looking good yourself. Oh, 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 yes. Yes, he is. He looks so good. Grimjow. Yes, Nell. Basically healing her spiritual energy leak. Oh, Nelliel. I may never go back to being a kid. Oh my god. Shut up. Uh-huh. I love when she gets serious. Uh-huh. Ooh! That is true, yes. She was the OG number 3, which Neutra did say. I was like, it has to be Ruruka! Aw! Oh my gosh, I forgot about them being here. Oh, look how happy he is. I freaking love Ruruka. Everything. 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 And I mean everything. Oh my god. Oh my god. Right. Well, yes, you are the protagonist. Well, you've been really busy lately. Huh. True. Like on our way here. Oh my god. Mmm. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yep. Okay. I like that we're getting this all explained as the choir music kicks in. Yeah. Mm. I mean, I love their abilities. That's not really how it works, but whatever. Mmm. Nice. Okay. Yes. Okay. It ain't gonna be one shot, but nice. Kisuke and Yoruichi, what a power couple. Uh. Oh. Oh. Oh, I love it. I love her with the hair down like that. I mean, Hachi should have a lot of spiritual energy. I like how it looks so small when he holds it. Yeah, exactly. My ear's like, I didn't think you'd be so bad we would need it. All right. I freaking love that Yukio and Ruruka are back. They were honestly my favorites from all of the Fullbringers. Especially Ruruka. Love her. Oh. Oh. I'm surprised Ukitake is still there. Oh. Oh. It ain't gonna be that easy. It's not going to be that easy. Oh. Well, he's just OP. Mm. Yeah, where is Osho? Uh. Hmm. Oh. Oh, her slapping her with the head or the ears. Who said I'm on your side? He literally is the Vegeta of Bleach. Correct. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Freaking love it. Mmm. Mmm. Why are you thinking about that, are you? Ugh. Ew. Hashball's like, look, I've seen worse. Sure. Sure, Jan. Oh my god. Askin, sweetheart! Hmm. Oh, his little cape was hanging onto the ledge. I freaking love Askin. Creepy. Oh. My first son. Hmm. Setting a lot up. Oh. And there's five. Of course there's five. Just like there's five palaces. Mm-hmm. Does that seem connected, perhaps? Mayhaps, since the Soul King's his dad? Of course it is. Gate. Oh, Kyogoku. Yukio was like, I ain't leaving shit. And I don't know you either. Mm. Mm. Oh. Hmm. Oh. Mm. That's what I said. Oh. Mm. Oh. Oh. Ichigo knowing her and saying that. Oh. Girl, I don't blame you. Girl, he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing. There was a time I shipped them pretty hard. He knows exactly what he's doing. He has a bit, hasn't he? Aww. Such a Sheba. Such a Sheba. Akon's like, my 401k better go up because of this. Mayuri. God. What a card. Little train track, little gates. Freaking Mr. Rogers' neighborhood over here. This ain't gonna be simple. Oh my god. Wish us luck. Oh. Here we go. Well, we've been doing some very quick remodeling. Some very quick remodeling. You can see it's not fully done. A Quincy town. A Quincy town. Well, it is technically. We did. He's just remodeled. Yeah, about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, yes. Yes. Soak that in, please. Basby's like, I would have designed it better. Mmm. Uh-huh. He has terrible taste. Oh. Ooh. Mmm. I need them all to meet up. Yes, exactly. Yes. My brother. She's like, you don't mention your sisters. What are you, my fiance? Oh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. True. Yep. Which is a problem. Which is a very big problem. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Byakuya knows what's up. Mm-hmm. Yep. Dang, soy phone. I forget how, like, kind of risque her outfit is. Shunsui's like, if I find out who killed... If I find the remnants of Sulking, which I guess you won't because Yhwach's absorbed them. Oh. Deciding on a new Soul King is insane. Absolutely insane. Oh. Hmm. Oh my god. Yee! Little Tato's like, get away. Oh, Basby, honey, you are so ready. So ready to see your man. I mean... Yeah. Oh, yes. Very gaudy. Uh-huh. He's like not even listening. Oh, Uryu looks a little bit distraught. Hashwell's like, well, since you didn't listen to me, I'll go and make sure we get done that. Oh, Hashwell looks like a Sailor Moon villain, and I mean that in the best way. Ah. So we just did like 2 episodes of setup. Ooh, okay. All the eyes. No, I want to watch the credits. Oh man. So we basically just set everything up, but Hashwell looked like a Sailor Moon villain right there. He looked like Malachite. And I was like, oh, oh, oh. I love asking and all this. He's just like, but why? Is it bad that Hashwell looks like, I know it's a Quincy Arrow. I know it's a Quincy Arrow. Is it bad that it kind of looks like, you know, a toy? Aizen's like, I guess I'll stay here and protect the Seretei since you won't let me go to the frickin' royal palace myself. You know Aizen would make fun of the decorations. Oh, I'm excited to go through the manga now, y'all. This is going to be interesting. Interesting indeed. Okay. Ooh, that's... Yes. Rinji. Gate of the Sun. Ooh. Her slapping her with the ears of her hood was so cute. That's so cute. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, this was quite a setup episode. This definitely felt like a setup episode to get us into Warwelt, where Yhwach and the remaining 5, because that's all we need. Which, if you think about it, it kind of is poetic because there's 5 points on the Quincy Cross, and you have Valkyrie, you have Lily, you have Hashwell, you have Pernita, you have Askin. Oh, and you have Uryu, who's the betrayer. So we'll get into that. But it feels like, you know, we have our 6 people, our 6 Sternritter that are left alongside Yhwach. I guess that makes 7, which 7's a pretty divine number in the numerology spectrum. So 3 and 7 are pretty divine numbers. But yeah, so this week was completely the opposite of last week, because last week we barely got through like a third of volume 68. In this week's volume, not only do we make up for lost time and get through everything that we had not gotten through, that I told you we skipped around in, not only did we finish this, but we got almost 3/4 of the way through volume 69, which I'm just saying, look, I'm gonna be insufferable when we get to Bosby versus Hashwell. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna be insufferable. If you don't ship them, I'm not gonna be your friend. But if you do ship them, we're gonna have a really good time. But Bosby's on the cover of volume 69. Look at his beautiful blue eyes. Look at how they look blue there. Look at those beautiful eyes. I'm just saying, volume 69, Bosby feels appropriate. It feels appropriate. And knowing what volume 70 is gonna be, I'm so ready. But we've got a little bit of time before we get to that. I know we do. So, surprisingly, though, for as much new content as Core 3 has, this episode set, combining the contents of these volumes, it wasn't really, a lot of the new content was just recontextualizing how we get to this point. And I'm not mad at it. I'm going to talk about, going back to the manga before starting this discussion, I feel as though the plot choices they've made to get us to the end of this episode set, I really like. I think the plot choices make it much cleaner. It makes like the chapters in the manga work because it's a week to week thing. So if it's a little disjointed, that's okay because it's a manga. Now, when you get to the volume version, this volume does feel a little disjointed, especially with the stuff with Urahara and the gate and everybody in the Seretei and Aizen. It feels a little disjointed in manga form. So I am glad that they kind of cleaned it up and streamlined it for us in the anime. It works a lot better. I will say some of the reactions, Kubo is an incredible artist and he's so good at facial expressions. And by the time he's gotten to this point in the manga, they're perfection. Every emotion he wants to capture, he can make an eyebrow just like tilt a little bit and the character's face completely evolves into something else. He's masterful at character expression. And there are a couple moments I'm going to point out with you in the volumes for 68 especially, and for volume 69, that I feel you need to just get the manga and see them yourself, because the anime tried to adapt them, but I don't think they got the expressions down quite as well. And we're going to talk about Uryu, because Uryu is kind of silent in this episode set, because Uryu's maybe planning things, and I think Haschwalth and Lily know it. At least in the manga they know it. In the anime they're playing things rather close to the vest. So let's dive into this, shall we? So we're going to kind of bump around a little bit in here. The stuff that I could not show you all that happened throughout volume 68, way back in chapter 613, which is the ordinary piece, which we had a couple weeks ago, it got to this point where we saw, now, in the dissection treatment room, which is literally called that, Ukitake, before he decides to be Mamihagi or tap into that power, Mimihagi, comes out saying that he's gotten everybody all cleaned up. And Shinji's like, oh, I thought that you needed treatment. And he's like, oh, I feel good. I don't need the help with the treatment. He's like, I've been working on Kenpachi and the others. So in the manga, Kenpachi shows up way before he does in this episode set. He's just like, here I am. They literally took the same picture of Kenpachi and just superimposed it to him being outside as opposed to being in with Urahara. They literally did that. It was kind of crazy to see on screen. But yeah. And of course, he's still looking for Yachiru. I feel bad. I feel bad that Kenpachi's still looking for Yachiru. I'm like, my dude, who's going to tell him? Who's going to tell him? So, and then he was about to go looking for Yachiru, and then Urahara's like, no, you need to stay here. Now, in the manga, of all people, Nanao makes him stay, which in the anime did feel a little odd, because I'm like, have they ever interacted before? Ever? In the manga, Urahara like traps Kenpachi there using a device, being like, sorry, I can't let you leave because we're going to need your help here in a little bit. And then Nanao steps in and she's like, you need to focus. It's still an interesting interaction. I guess they don't want to make Urahara look as dastardly maybe, and so they cut it out. And then he just decides to stay. And that's when Urahara's like, all right, let's get started. And so he talks about the spirit orbs briefly, and then we go back to Ichigo showing up. So you can see, like, they were getting that all set up that we see in this episode back when Ichigo was still fighting Yhwach. So the timing of it and the pacing in the manga at this point is a little disjumbled. And so I like that they streamlined it in the anime. It works a lot better. Because then we even go back, like in chapter 614 in the Kill the King chapter, to Hiyori showing up with all the stuff she's gathered from her, like, patch up the real world scenario. I'm gonna be real with you all. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna skim through it. We might as well talk about it since it's with the manga. I love Hiyori and Shinji's interaction. It's so funny. To be honest, back during Turn Back the Pendulum, I was shipping Shinji with, like, everybody. I was shipping Shinji with Urahara. I was shipping Shinji with Aizen. I was shipping Shinji with Hiyori. Shinji can be shipped with a lot of people. He's spoiled for choice, to be quite honest. I love his little bolo that he has. But looking at this scene now with them in the anime, I really think of Shinji and Hiyori more as like siblings. That's how I view them now. They're more like, especially when they're just like trying to see who can make the most exaggerated expression, they just feel more like siblings. It's really cute. But yeah. So love Hachi, Lisa, and Hiyori getting suited up in their Shinigami gear, ready to go back. This is one of the scenes I'm talking about. Like, Kubo is so good at drawing like Hiyori's expressions, like her like melancholy, because Hiyori really suffered during Turn Back the Pendulum, and you can tell she really doesn't want to work with the Soul Reapers, but she wants to help too. And so there's a moment here, like as Love's carrying her on his back, you can see her expression there. It's so beautiful, like the way Kubo draws eyes. It's gorgeous. It makes sense now why Yhwach is just like a bunch of eyes on top of his head, because Kubo's like, I'm really good at drawing those. And then there's another part here where as they're getting this gate ready to connect to the spirit palace, that Soifone makes her little stance about, I'm not mad that you didn't tell us we might not come back, but I'm mad that you think we couldn't handle the truth. And it's interesting because she says all that before Ukitake becomes the arm of the Soul King, so he's down in the corner saying, she's trying to say we all feel the same way about the court guards. Like, there's something warm about Ukitake's presence here, and it's really sad that, like, that's missing in this episode. Like, again, I like the pacing, I like what they've done, but it's so sad that he's just, like, not there to be the source of warmth, So then, Kenpachi's like, this part here has been taken out where he's like, sell us short, care about the court guards, come back, can't come back, who gives a crap? I just want to crush them. That's it. And he's like, stop wasting time, let's go already. And then Urahara has this like really little tender moment where he's kind of like, yeah, we should get going. And he's like, you're right, we should get going. All of us. This is one of my favorite shots of Hiyori, and I don't think the anime did it justice. Like, she looks so good there. Like, her expression, putting on the robes, she looks amazing. And again, that's back at the Kill the King chapter, which was quite a while ago. So we skip through all this stuff with Yhwach versus Ichigo. We've already seen it. And the stuff with Ukitake, we skip through that. And then we are like halfway through the volume, and as they're trying to get the spirit pressure ready to leave Soul Society, that's about the time that Shunsui is freeing parts of Aizen. And so yeah, the gate starts to collapse. I forgot how much I really like seeing Lisa and Nanao together. They look so similar. They look visually so alike on screen. I really like seeing them paired up together. And then, of course, I love that Hiyori's like, give us the damn orbs. We're as strong as a captain. So this part didn't change. They still were, like, without Ukitake at this point. And that's when Mayuri shows up. He's like, I was summoned only to find you doing as you please in someone else's lab. Oh, I live for the three-way struggle of who's the smartest between Aizen, Urahara, and Mayuri. It's absolutely hilarious. So yeah, he's like, if you needed a vast amount of spiritual pressure, why didn't you use the amplifier first? And I love that Urahara is like, wish you told me you had something like that. And he's like, oh, I didn't anticipate you'd need it. They're the worst. They're the worst. I like that in the anime, Aizen's like in between them all at this point. It's so good. Also, leave it to Hisagi to be like, now we can go. I'm like, Hisagi, don't jinx this. So around the time that that's going on, Shunsui is letting Aizen out. Who let the dogs out? Who? And so then we have all that scene there. Get through all of this. And we are picking up this episode set as Yhwach we start out this chapter. So yeah, we end up the chapter, Uryu and them send Ichigo and the others away, and Yhwach decides that he's going to destroy the Soul King's arm, and he's going to absorb Reo. Now, that's where we technically start out this episode. So here, I'm going to get this started and pull up some screenshots with you all. Here in 3, 2, 1. Here we get down to this part where he's starting to absorb, and all of his little like bug eyeball things. They're kind of cute. They're like little. They remind me of the homunculus from Full Metal Alchemist. They remind me of the homunculus. They just have the little eyeball, and they have the little. Although the little teeth that they have, that's not cute. But then themselves, they kind of look like little soot balls from Spirited Away a little bit. But yeah, so we start out as all of Yhwach's power comes cascading down. Now, this part here is cut from the manga, or cut from the anime, and I really like this page where it shows Yhwach and like the black is like pouring down from his face, like ink pouring down, which Osho would be super impressed by seeing this. Where is Osho? Where did he disappear to? Is he still alive? We kind of disappears. He's like, I'll put a lid on the Seretei. And there is a shot of Uryu looking. Uryu looks very... At this point, Uryu has a lot of expressions. If you notice in the manga, like, there's his face there looking forlorn. There's him looking skeptical. The manga really paints Uryu as like, yeah, I totally betrayed my friends. I'm not going to betray you all. And I'm not kind of like terrified of what's happening right now. No, I'm totally chill. Everything's fine. We all know better. But yeah, I do like the idea of seeing his like the black veins and stuff coming out like ink, and then him taking over Reo, and that's when we get the shot down of all the little bulbs and everything. Now, in the manga, all this goes down. In the manga, if you notice, Ukitake is still twitching and connected to the Soul King's arm somehow. I don't know why they left that like it is, because they showed him like taking out the Soul King's arm. I don't know why they've left Ukitake like he is, because in the Chapter 621, The Dark Curtain, which I love that title, chapter title, you see like Ukitake falling back into the sphere there. And then we see his vice captains picking him up and holding him while the Soul King's arm has been like cut off from Yhwach. So, and then Urahara notices it, and that's when he notices like all the stuff coming down, all the power from Yhwach overflowing onto the Seretei. Yeah, that's when he notices that. So I don't know why they left him, if they're going to do something with that. I don't know what that part is connected to now, because he's absorbed it. So maybe they'll show us next episode. Maybe that will be a thing. I feel like because the anime has established the moment that the Soul King's arm cuts off, Ukitake is dead. They're trying to stall that from being confirmed, but I don't know how that's going to work. We're going to see. But anyway, so then we have Yhwach in his like monstrous form there getting formulated. And I'm going to say here, yeah, we've seen all this stuff here. They added a lot of extra things in, which we're about to see. And we're going to get to that, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, here we go. So as Yhwach is forming, there is a part they cut out of the anime, which is all the little, yeah, they look like little babies. They look like little cherubs, little fetuses with one eye, which I guess is tying to Yhwach. The one chapter title is Holy Newborn, which these are all little parts of him. So it's really creepy and cool. But they kind of all like bounce off of the other Sternritter. And Haschwald is like, this is just his power. It's, the Reo's power, which was released from the Soul Reaper seal, has become an unstoppable torrent and is coursing through his body. It's not going to harm you. Reo's enemy is the soul reapers, which that line there, they cut that from the episode. So I'm going to put a little pin in it for now, and we'll just keep it around, because I think that's interesting, saying that Reo's enemies are the soul reapers, what's so fascinating about this is last week Yhwach made the point of saying that if you have any Quincy blood in your body, then you can't help but want to kill the Soul King. But then in this moment here where Haschwald's like, Reo's enemy is the Soul Reapers, it's like, but you just said he hates the Quincy's. So does he hate the Quincy's and hate the Soul Reapers? So is that why they trapped him in the little gym so where he couldn't hurt anybody? Is it like an Aizen and Mugen situation? It's interesting. So I don't know. Unless he's meaning by Reo, by Soul King, he's now referring to Yhwach as Reo because he's absorbed his powers and says his enemies are Soul Reapers. That might be too. And my dogs are like chasing each other. So maybe that's it. Maybe because Yhwach is now absorbing Reo and becoming Reo himself, that's why Haschwald says his enemies are the Soul Reapers. So we'll see. Or could be that Reo was disliked by a lot of people. We'll just have to see. But yeah, we see them come down, and honestly, the stuff that's shown in the anime is just an extension of what we see. Although we do get to see Omida fight in the manga for a little hot second. I don't think we get that in the anime. We get to see Shino and the other guy again. Poor Asagi. Even in the actual manga, like we see him and Madarame and Yumachika fighting against them. But then in the manga, they just fight them. And then Byakuya shows up. But here, the anime does him dirty too. I was like, But why? But yeah, although the cute little fetus things, that is like Demigorgon terrifying. No thank you. No thank you at all. And Madarame is like, we gotta protect the lab. And then they all start fighting against these things. Everybody's fighting. It's exactly like it is in the manga. Byakuya shows up. And then guess who's back, bitch? It's Brittany, bitch, aka it's Aizen. They do a really good job. Even the anime original content, Rukia looks amazing. They will always let her look wonderful. Yeah. And then he's like, why waste time swatting with a sword when you can just use your spiritual pressure? What a freaking flex. He's like, why waste your time like batting a sword when you can just use your spiritual pressure and just sit on them? I love it. I love it. That is, what a shot. What a freaking shot. Aizen with his little, he's got his little fashionable poncho that he has on. He's tied down to Chair-sama. What a time. It looks great. Yeah, Rukia looks great in the anime. They did a really good job of animating her. And then the manga, the black butterfly is back, bitch. Like, he's just listening to Crazy Town Butterfly on a loop. Sugar, baby. So yeah, so there's Aizen. Great opening. And then we get the actual OP. Nice. I really have come to like the OP a lot. It's great. So yeah, Aizen's here, and then we get the discussion from Shunsui. Oh, it's delicious. It is delicious. Let it be known that Shunsui is not Yamamoto. This man is not, because Yamamoto was very rigid, very old school, very rigid, and was like, no, here's how things are. Shunsui's got some darkness to him. He's got a little darkness to him. He's got an edge to him. And he is not afraid to fight dirty. I feel, honestly, I feel like there's been little notches made in Shunsui's concepts of morally gray throughout the series. Like, for example, Yamamoto's like really hard stance against, the judgment call on Rukia and how the Seretei treats Ichigo and everything. I think those kind of things sort of like made him question. And then I think the big thing that for me made Shunsui kind of question the morality of it all was when he faced Stark. Like, I've talked to the moderator, be happy about it. Stark versus Shunsui is like one of my, it is my favorite battle in all of the Arrancar, Hueco Mundo, Fake Karakura Town arc. It is my favorite battle. That is just so emblematic of their characters. It was so entertaining to watch. It was so different. I loved that battle. Ulquiorra versus Ichigo's up there. That's probably my second favorite. But inside Fake Karakura Town. And then there's, of course, Ichigo versus Aizen. But that's just hype. That's just pure hype. At that point, it's just pure like shonen hype. But Shunsui versus Stark, it was such a great battle of character. And I think that's one of the first battles, because I don't think Shunsui minded Stark. I think they could have been friends. I think he realized, in another world, they could have sat down and had tea together, but that's not the world that they were in. And I think that battle gave Shunsui this kind of idea of, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And that's kind of the same thing he's employing here. Because it takes a lot of nerve to tell everyone that battled in Fake Karakura Town, everybody that battled during the Arrancar arc, everyone that faced Aizen and just got owned. It's crazy to say, hey guys, I know that you worked really hard to seal this guy up. I'm gonna kind of let him go because we need his help. Like, that's pretty ballsy to do. And I love that Aizen's just like, yep, looks like we're gonna do this. Which is crazy. Although Shunsui is not without his own dirtiness, because Aizen, he's like, since you need my help, you could just go ahead and release me. And he's like, oh, no, I'm not going to do that. He's like, I'm not removing the restraints. He's like, you should be fine. And Aizen's like, well, you're overestimating my power. I don't think I'll be good. He's like, well, then I guess you're just going to die. So Shunsui is pretty... I feel like Yamamoto and Shunsui both have this darkness to them, but whereas Yamamoto's was like a big, emblematic of his, Zanpakuto powers, was a big emblematic blaze. Shunsui's is like a slow pouring dark tea. It's just like, it's kind of like sickly how soothing it is. He's just like, yeah, sure. We'll use evil to fight evil. Why wouldn't we? Like, it's just so calm the way he does it, whereas Yamamoto is just this big emblematic fire, you know? But yeah, and so then Aizen's like, I love that Aizen says, you really are difficult to deal with. He's like, and Shensui's like, oh, thank you. And then he uses Hado 90. Hado 90 is one of my favorites. The Black Coffin. Kuro Hitsugi, the Black Coffin. That's one of my favorites. It's just such a... It's so wonderfully visual when it's created. It's wonderfully visual when it doesn't work. Like when it's broken through, when like Ichigo breaks through it. I think Hachi uses it. Like it's just so freaking good. Love it. It's probably one of my favorites. And you know what? Byakuya has a point. Byakuya is like, freeing Aizen is an insult to us. Like in everything we've done to get to this point. And Shensui's like, yeah, no. I love the way they animate Shensui when he's like, they're going to gnaw at your body. Aizen looks amazing here too. So the anime did a great job of getting both of them. But yeah, and Shensui's like, look, y'all can get mad at me after we've saved Soul Society. You want to slap me, mess with me, then when Soul Society's saved, you come with me and get me. Chapter 622 is called The Agony. And I love that everybody's just amazed at how OP Aizen is, even when he's just like handcuffed to a chair. So, volume 68 actually ends in a kind of a weird spot where Aizen, I mean, a great chapter ending. Anytime Aizen makes a declaration and that's where the chapter ends, it's great. But he declares that he's going to shoot down the Royal Palace, and that's where volume 68 ends. It's kind of a weird place. It's kind of a weird spot. So, I don't know if I'll keep the ear tag on Hashvalt. I might put this back on the shelf, but him saying that the Rayo's enemy is the Soul Reapers, that was cut from the anime, so I want to make note of it. If we go back to it, it might be relevant, but anyway, so we can put that down and jump into volume 69. So that's where I have things to say. I have things to say with this. But yeah, let's get back through here. We're going to strike it down. Can't you sense Yhwach's spiritual pressure and how it's changed? What's interesting to me is that at this point, like, Urahara has always been kind of depicted as OP and always, like, 2 steps ahead of everybody, kind of, like, keeping right on Aizen's tail. Like, if Aizen's 3 steps ahead of everyone, Urahara is 2 steps ahead of everyone, and then everybody else is kind of behind, and Mayuri's, like, 1 step ahead of everyone, and everyone else is just on even keel. But in this arc, it's so interesting because Urahara, for once in this series, seems like he might not have it all together. Like he might actually be struggling to be ahead, which is crazy. It almost feels like him and Mayuri switch places. Aizen's still 3 steps ahead. Yhwach is seemingly 3 steps ahead because of his psychic abilities that he's been using up to this point. I know they're not really psychic, but they essentially are. And Urahara seems like he's still 1 step ahead, but is still kind of like trying to navigate. And then Mayuri seems 2 steps ahead. It's kind of wild. It's weird. I mean, I'm not mad. Mayuri being steps ahead of everybody checks with his powers, but I want to tell you all, before we dive into the contents of this volume, that the opening, I feel like they're saving this opening one for when Hashvalt and Bosby face each other. But this volume is called Against the Judgment, which is one of the which is episode 31's title. And Against the Judgment is because Basby and Giselle and Lil Toto, they're all like, we aren't happy with Yhwach, actually, so we're willing to help you to get up there and settle the score a little bit, which is fun. But his poem is bullet, claw, battle flag, short sword. I feel like bullet and claw, we've seen bullet, he's used 1 finger for bullet. I feel like he's used 2 finger for claw. 3 as a battle flag. I don't know if that's representative of 3 fingers or if it's representative of like the past. Short sword is 4, so I don't know if that's like this motion here. If you put your mind in the gutter enough. And then there's a second line that says, with my fingers bent, I wait for you. I bet you would. With my fingers bent, I bet you would. Hashvalt, the B is for the bottom. Let's all just remember that. There's just something overtly... What gets me is that Kubo is very overtly sexual with the female characters in his story. very overtly sexual. We're going to get into a thing with Yhwach here in a second that I'm like, Kubo, what the fudge? But yeah, the stuff with Bosby is just kind of... It's like, there's the stuff with the female characters that's really overtly sexual sometimes with Kubo, but then the stuff with Bosby and Hoshvald, I'm like, I don't know, there's not... It's kind of on the nose. The context is there. The subtext is there. I can't wait to get to it. It's going to be fun. But yeah, so anyway, we get past that and we start, we actually cover chapters 623 through 628 for the rest of this volume with there's not really anything omitted from these chapters, but again, in the anime, some of it's recontextualized, which we'll get to it. But yeah, they covered 6 chapters from halfway through this first episode into the end of next episode, which is quite a lot of content to just getting back through it. So yeah. So they're like, what are we going to do? And that's when we find out a little bit about Aizen's stipulations and the limiters placed upon. I like how the manga does not really, it shows the aura around his powers, but it doesn't show it being purple. And I like that it's purple because, purple's a royal color. Purple's a unique color. It's a color of power and elitism, and that fits Aizen very well. So anyway, Shansui doesn't look bothered by this because he knows Aizen's powers are a little bit limited. They're not going to reach the royal palace. They're gonna do well for him to protect the Seretei here. And it's kind of crazy because Shansui completely uses Aizen. Like in this moment, Shensui's like, I brought you up here because you were pretty safe down in Mukin. Down in Mukin, you were safe. And if stuff happened up here, you wouldn't care because it wouldn't affect you. He's like, but I'm going to bring you up to the surface because now you're sitting duck. And now, while we're up at the Soul Palace taking care of things against Yhwach, you're going to keep the Seretei safe, otherwise you'll die. So you really don't have a choice. And Aizen's like, I hate all of you. So, at this point, Mayuri shows back up. And Mayuri, I also want to point out here, in the OP, they make the little flowers look purple and like pinkish. Here they look red and blue. Shansui to me is bisexual icon. Like, just let him go. Ukitake had only eyes for Shansui, but Shansui, bisexual icon. I just love Aizen's face there. I want to make Aizen's face the thumbnail, but then we have Grimjow show up, and then there's that shot of Hoshvald at the end. It's like, there's so many good... I'm going to poll Discord to see what we're going to do, because there's so many good faces. So many good shots. So then Mayuri and Nemu show up. I really like Nemu's design in this too, in the arc as well. And he's like, did you really believe your power exceeded my technology? I mean, Mayuri's like, bitch, I ain't gonna go down. I love it. I love it. So in the manga, they explain it as, you said it yourself, the restraint doesn't eliminate your spiritual pressure. It only keeps it near you. But to keep that powerful, the power to keep it close is immensely powerful. So it's a culmination of Soul Society's technology. Do not take it lightly. And Mayuri's like, well, of course. Mayuri explains it in much more detail. In the manga, he says, a Soul Reaper's spiritual pressure springs eternally as long as their heart continues beating. It's impossible to stop that flow without stopping your heart. All those in Mukin prison are sinners that cannot be killed for one reason or another. I'm like, come on, Kubo, one reason or another. There's no executioner in Soul Society that can stop their hearts. Well, that makes more sense. They're too powerful for somebody just to kill. That's why that restraint expends no power whatsoever to try to eliminate your spiritual pressure, because that would be a waste of time. All our efforts were restraining the spiritual pressure along with the body. And to what degree is entirely up to me. Did you think that because your power is beyond my technological expertise that you could use your power however you wanted? Not so, Aizen Sosuke. Regardless of whether or not you can shoot down Ryoku, if you even tried that while in my custody, that would be a slap in my face. I love that Mayuri's like, don't be messing with my power as a scientist just to try to prove a point. And Aizen's like, so are you controlling my level of restraint with that gadget? Turn it up all the way. And your expertise in my power, and let's find out which is stronger. So I'm mad that na interrupted, because we were getting Mayuri and Aizen about to get like into each other's faces, which I really wanted to see, because to be honest, throughout most of the series, Aizen and Mayuri have never really like gotten into it. Like during the arc, the Rescue Rukia arc, Mayuri was too busy focused on Uryu and the aftermath of that to really get into what was going on with Aizen. And then during Karakura Town and during the Arrancar arc, he was in Hueco Mundo. So I feel like Kubo was really smart to put Mayuri in Hueco Mundo, not only because of how he was needed there, but if Mayuri had been in with the Soul Society against Aizen, I think Aizen might have had a tougher time. I don't think it would have deterred Aizen overall, but I think it would have made his job a lot harder. So then, Najakoop, what a name. He shows up, Stern Ritter Yu, the underbelly. So we get to find out we finally get to see his shrift be said in all of this. And so, I've thoroughly observed your spiritual power. I don't know if it's because of that black suit, but your pressure's full of holes. As long as I can accurately assess the pattern, I can poke the holes and strip you naked. Look, you're trying to do something we've all been wanting Kubo to do for a long time. I don't think if Kubo can't do it, you can't do it. So, So yeah. So he manages to knock Aizen out for like 5 minutes, and I feel as if the other three just let Nanana lead them there and get them into a position where they were, not going to immediately get attacked by the Soul Society before they took him out and then said, hey, no, actually, we're going to fight with you guys because we're not into this either. So yeah, and of course, Shunsui like, I don't like this at all. They do a really cool foreshadowing bit, though, because for Chapter 623, they show you Nanana's face down in the corner, and it's mainly because of his injury, but there's this moment where you see, like, it says against the judgment, and there's, like, the blood coming out of his mouth, but it's a nice little bit of foreshadowing because Basby's gonna kill him here in a minute, so that was interesting. And so I think it's interesting the translator said Manager Urahara, that Shunsui calls him, which Urahara's a former captain. I guess he didn't want to just say Urahara Kisuke. He's like, you guys concentrate on the gate. We'll handle it from here. And then the zombies start showing up. Probably, I know I've talked about it a little bit, but one of my favorite Giselle facial expressions. They did so good. They did so good animating it from the manga. It takes a zombie to control the zombies. We love to see it. We love to see Giselle becoming a zombie herself. Should we be surprised? No, we probably should not be. Although I think she's just, not so easily defeated, right? But anyway, so Basby's like, no, actually we are joining you guys. This guy, he's not going to be of any use. Love it. I also like that Lil Toto is there. She's great. I'm going to be honest with you all. I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't remember what Lil Toto and Giselle do at this point. I do not recall. I know what happens to Basby. Oh, we know where he's going. We know who he's seeing. He looks so freaking good here. We know where he's going. He looks so earnest. And he is the Renji. He is the Renji of the Quincy's. And that's the best way I can put it. And I'm not mad about that. I love Renji. He's one of my favorites. He's the Renji of the Quincy's. And I love him. But yeah, he's like, no, get this guy out of here. We are all mad because Yhwach abandoned us. He didn't take us with him. He left us to die. And so we're going to kill him instead. And I like that Shensui's eyes are like hidden in the shadows. And he's like, I see. Shensui's like, you all ain't killing Yhwach. Like, that's the protagonist's job. But he's like, sure, come with us, help us out. An enemy of our enemy is our friend for now, right? Love that. Oh man, I want to see more of Basby and Renji. I want to see more of them. Because they just match up so well. So anyway, look at this diva. Look at this freaking diva. Look at him standing there, hands on his hips, ready to open up, looking so fly as hell. We just gotta love it, right? Also, this shot of Mayuri where he says, don't underestimate me. Great. Love that. So yeah, so Aizen in the manga just like cracks his neck and he's like, oh my god, that was annoying. I do kind of like Shunsui. Like, again, this arc does have characters talking that I never would have imagined having a conversation again. Like Shunsui and Aizen having a conversation with Shunsui as the head captain of the Soul Society. Unheard of. Unheard of. He's like, so can you move already? He's like, well, that depends on what you mean. If you want to kill me, now's the time. I also like this shot. So, again, Grimjow showing up here. He has this shot here. I want to see if the anime did it as well. Do they? Shunsui makes the comment that he gets all this part's added, where all of the court guards come back and report so they can help create the gate. And we see Shino and our other kid again from the beginning. That part was cute. But yeah, I want to get back to this part. I don't feel like this part, maybe it was in the manga, maybe I just missed it. I don't think it was. They're all still, yeah. So this whole thing of Mayuri's creation to get them up to the royal palace, that's all new. That's all anime original. With these like intestines, it looks like, and there's a head, there's like feet poking up. Again, Mayuri having a foot fetish, I'd totally be down. I would believe that. But in the actual manga, they're all like just hanging out in the old Division 12 lab. They're all just hanging out in there. So this looks a lot more epic. I like how epic it looks. It looks a lot better. But there's this shot here, and I don't know if we'll get to see it, but them all showing up. And yeah, we get this part here with Kenpachi. That stuff we've already talked about from the manga. And yeah. And then Shunsui gives his Independence Day Bill Pullman, speech to them. But what I was going to say is there's this shot here wherever Aizen's like, if you want to kill me, now's the time. This shot here, as Shunsui says, you're kidding, right? If I could, I would have already. His hat is down below his face. So there is a part of me that wonders, like, would Shunsui have actually killed him? Or would he not have, He says, boy, you were struck by that attack while having your spiritual pressure, and it all immobilized you for 5 minutes. I feel sorry for the Quincy on the ground. And for Aizen to concede that something happened that never happened to him before, he's like, please, I've never been stopped for 5 minutes and immobilized, so there's no reason for you to feel bad for him. And Shunsui, again, is like, good point. And he's like, shadowed. There's so much to Kubo shadowing Shunsui's face. Like, you don't know what he actually thinks or if he actually believes what he's saying. It's fascinating. He's like, do you mind waiting here quietly? And Aizen's just like, what choice do I have? He's like, what choice do I have? So, yeah. So then as they're all getting ready, I do love this little shot here. Basby and Renji are like arguing back and forth, which is great. And little Toto's just looking down her ball and Giselle's like trying to bounce on her head. That's really cute. And so then Shunsui gives his Independence Day speech, which is great. I'm not complaining about it. It just gave me vibes from that movie. God, and the fact that as he's saying all of this, you get that shot of Ukitake just like still lying there. I guess it's motivating Shunsui even more, He's like, we're going to protect the world. He does look really good there. I might make Shunsui the thumbnail. He looks really freaking good there. It's going to be hard. I'm going to go to the Discord. So whichever thumbnail y'all see is the one the Discord helps me pick. So yeah. And that's when Hiyori shows up. They're amazing. We get this part here. We've talked about it from the manga. Do me a favor and stay put here. Yeah, again, I like all this getting recontextualized. I feel like it works better in the anime. It flows better in this episode than it being rather clunky in the manga. So it's fine. And then we get this shot here. This is actually really funny in the anime where Basby's trying to tell Renji what to do, and Renji's like, what do you mean to do? And Rukia's like, oh my god, they're the same person. And you know what? You may be thinking, you're like, well, Romania, Renji and Basby, but Basby likes Hashfalt. Renji likes Rukia. And Rukia and Hashfalt are kind of similar, a little bit. They are both quiet, kind of stoic characters. They both have kind of a tragic backstory. We'll get to Hashfalt's when we get to it. They are kind of similar. I'm like, the archetypes are kind of matching up. Although I do think it's sad that they don't have little Toto and Giselle doing anything like they have in the manga. That part's really cute. But then Aizen's like, the Soul Reapers and Quincy's joining forces to protect the Soul Society together. Well, the Quincy's they're out for their own thing. They're not really protecting the Soul Society together. He's like, no. They just happen to chase after you and end up going after the enemy you strove to become. Ooh, yes. The one who stopped me. Yeah, when he says the enemy you strove to become, it's basically talking about Yhwach. But he's like, the one who stopped me entered Reiko before me. Dude, not only did Ichigo enter before you, freaking Ganju, Shiba, and Kon entered before you. Let's break that down. And at this point, Ruruka's there too, and Yukio. So, poor Aizen. I feel like it's very symbolic, and I really like Kubo not letting Aizen get what he wants. And like the sheer poetry of this shot here, Aizen is sitting in a chair, stuck in a chair, forced to watch as the entrance is right there. He doesn't even need the Oaken. He was trying to make it. He doesn't even need it. It's right there in front of him, and he can't get to it. That's so poetic. It's so poetic. I love it. I love it so much. He continues to be insufferable. Ichigo Kurosaki. Now, in the manga, you see Ichigo as he's getting healed, and the shot there with Aizen, and you see Grimmjow's freaking boots. I love those boots. Those boots with the fangs on the end, they're so good. So good. And then we see Ichigo getting up. Now, at this point in the episode, I would like to thank Studio Pierrot and the animation team for what they did, because this is the one changed scene from the episode set, and it is infinitely better. I'm sorry, you perverted people out there. We're going to talk about how it's better. In this, Ichigo wakes up, and it makes sense. Orihime has healed him. Now, if you're wanting like a little Orihime, Ichigo, little moment together as she's blushing, he wakes up and sees her, and then she's been healing everybody. And then as she's like, she got tears in her eyes. She's like, well, thank goodness. And then she like collapses on him. And he's like, oh. And then Chad's like, yeah, she's been healing everybody, so she's a little overworked. And she says she's hungry girl mood. So then Yoruichi's like, yeah, she even healed my arm. That's adorable. That's shippy. It's adorable. It's cute. She like claps into Ichigo's arms. That's sweet. I love that. The first thing that Ichigo sees when he wakes up in... He doesn't even see it, but we, the audience, are forced to see it. In the manga, I'm about to show you this, and I need you to understand how this just, like, made my jaw drop when I saw it in the manga when it first premiered. And I was like, Kubo, are you freaking kidding me? So not only in the manga, Yoruichi, like, kicks Ichigo in the back. The mood in this scene to end the episode is very hopeful and kind and sweet and warm. The mood in the chapter itself of the manga is kind of cynical and kind of like, not off-putting, but kind of cynical and just ridiculous and played just for humor. Here it's played for some sentiment and heart. In the manga, it's played just for humor. This is the shot of Yoruichi. This is what it pans to. If you're thinking to yourself, I can almost see the lips of her vagina, you are correct. You are absolutely correct. Kubo. And then it shows her like drop kicking him, and poor Ichigo's like spitting out blood, and poor Orihime's like in the background there going, oh my god, you know, you can barely, I'm trying to get to where you can see her. Yeah. She's like, oh my god, yeah. Yep. And so Ichigo's like, wait, it's all coming back to me. And he recalls that in the manga, like, he grabbed, the arrow was coming, so he has in the manga an arrow that's like in his side, and he grabs it to pull it out. So Uryu did fire the arrow, but he was able to pull it out pretty easily. And I love this shot of Orihime as she's like saving him. It's really good. But then they're like, oh, sorry, Ichigo. And as they're going back up to try to meet up with Yoruichi, whose arm is like severed, that's when Kon shows up. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? And Kon shows up, and he's like, I thought I was going to die for sure. And he bursts out of Ichigo's shirt. And then, but when he bursts out of Ichigo's shirt, Kon is trying to save himself to get up to Yoruichi first. And it causes Ichigo to bonk Orihime in the head. And then I love, look, as sentimental as this is, as sentimental as the anime is, because then they're like, oh, well, Kon was the real hero. Why are we having this? Why are we rewriting the story to make Kon a sentimental character? Because here they're like, oh, Kon was the real hero. He saved you at the last minute. And they're like, and they make a joke out of it. They're like, rest in peace, Kon. And he's like, I'm not dead. He's like, I was hiding in your clothes just in case. And he's like, and then Ichigo's like, oh, well, thank you, Kon. And he makes it this little sentimental moment. No, in the manga, Ichigo's face, I want you all to see it. He's like, this was Kon's fault. And then he grabs him and like Ichigo's face there. It's so good. It's so funny. They try to make this sentimental nonsense with Kon here being like, thanks, Kon, for saving me. No, the manga is better. This is the one moment I'm like, no, the manga is better. Give Kon the shame he deserves. Like this, what? So I'm glad that Yaruichi is like, get that scene out of the way, but just what the fudge. So yeah, he's like, thanks. Like, they just make Ichigo look so happy here. And so yeah, they're like, look, we're gonna have to get back to where we started, but first, we need this badass mother trucker to come. What an entrance. What a double spread entrance. Every reader has been waiting for Grimmjow to come back for like years, reading the manga. And then here he is. It's been a while, Ichigo. Or he says it's been a while, Kurosaki. Yes. So I love the drip. I love the two belts. I love the black. We hadn't seen the bottom part of it yet, but I love, like, he's got the scar from Ichigo on there. He looks so freaking good. So yeah, so the Holy Newborn is episode 32, which we're going to talk about. Kubo is even a little perverted here. He's like, you thought this was my underwear? So naive. Look, it's her outfit that she battles in, but it's basically underwear. And Kon even says it. So I'm like, being self-referential does not take away from being perverted. Sorry. So yeah, chapter 625 is called Living Jaguar. Look at how good he looks. Look at Grimmjow. He looks amazing on that page. Look at the drip. He looks so good. The boots, the skinny jeans. He looks fantastic. I love it. And then let's get back into this. So we have the gate opening up and them getting out of here. Yep. And it's great. They're starting to rebuild the castle. We're going to get back to this in the manga, but I do want to highlight Shinji looks amazing. Like the way they have the air blowing through his hair, it looks great. This whole scene was really well animated. Love it. So then we have the opening. I'll get past this. Yep. Grimmjow showing up. I do want to talk about, like, everybody. Grimmjow being voiced by Junichi Sawabe. I was told before starting this, because I watched the English dub, right? I watched the English dub, and the voice for Grimmjow is a little bit different. But hearing Junichi Sawabe voice him... He sounds like Almine from Kuroko's Basketball. He's using that character voice, which is great because Ichigo might as well be Kagami. Might as well be. You would think Renji would be. But yeah, so whenever he said, he's like, because Ichigo's like, what are you going to save? You're going to save the Soul Society? And he's like, look, I have to save Hueco Mundo because that's where you're going to die at. And Ichigo's like, you. Although this line, he's like, you're looking good yourself. I was like... You're not helping the shippers. You're not helping the shippers. Do I ship Ichigo and Grimmjow? I did for a while. I did. I feel like the whole battles between Grimmjow and Ulquiorra, I feel like there were, although Ulquiorra was primarily shipped with Orihime, for sure, but I feel like there were Grimmjow Ichigo shippers. I feel like that battle, there's a lot there. He's like I'd die before killing you. And he's like, I'm going to sell this score with you, and that's when Nell shows up, which I love Nell. Let me just phrase this, that Nelliel is that whole arc. Because at first you're like, okay, why introduce this kid that, is just going to be like a kid Ichigo has to carry around, and she's going to be kind of a burden for him, and she's going to make battling difficult for him. And then you find out she's one of the OG Arrancar. She was the OG number 3 until Halle Bell took her place. And, she has this ability. And then you find out she had the crack on her skull from Nenoitra. And when that gets healed up, she's able to regain her spiritual power long enough to battle him. Great. Love it. And she has the centaur, like the half goat motif. Love it. Great. Wonderful. There is going to be a plot line later on in this arc that I hate, that I loathe. It's one of my top 5. I loathe it so much. And the premise of it is very similar to Nelliel, but Nelliel, her whole situation makes sense. And you could say, well, Nelliel's just a copycat of Yoruichi, because Yoruichi was a cat that became a giant big boobed woman. Yes, you could say that. And Yoruichi doesn't really have an excuse. You're like, well, how'd she turn into a cat? And they're like, screw you, because the plot said so. But with Nell, it kind of makes sense in the world of the Arrancars and the world of Hueco Mundo, and I'm very forgiving of it, because I'm like, okay, sure. Makes sense. I'm down. But here, when she's like, well, Urahara made me a bracelet that lets me switch between my adult and child form whenever I want. I'm like, that part is weird, because I'm like, it's not, her thing isn't a bracelet. The thing isn't that she couldn't switch between one way or the other. The thing was that her skull was cracked and it was leaking Reitsu out of it, which was causing her to go back to this child form. And she's a hollow, so it kind of makes sense. You're like, well, that's just how, okay, that's understandable. That we can make that world building work. But making a bracelet, I'm like, how does the bracelet cure the giant crack in her skull? Kubo, make it make sense, please. And is Orihime a little bit jealous of Nell being in her adult form because she's kind of she's like the hollow equivalent to Orihime? Sure, but I think the Inoue knows she's got an in. She's all right. What's kind of interesting is that you put Nell and Ruruka together, and that's exactly Ichigo's type. Because Ichigo is really happy around Ruruka. He really cares about her. She's like Ruruka is like, sort of like Hiyori. She's very tsundere. But I always thought that Ruruka was kind of like if Hiyori and Rukia were put together, because she kind of feels like a combination of those characters. And Nell is kind of the hollow version of Orihime, just more brash about it. But Ichigo, I mean, Orihime, you should know you're fine. So then, I like that. I do like when Nelliel gets serious and she tells Grimjaw to like know his place, and he's like, those numbers don't mean anything, girl. And plus, you were the OG 3. Halle Bell's the 3 now, and she ain't doing as much as you are. So then we have Ruruka showing up with Yukio, and she's like inside the box. She says, "Get in the box, Shinji." I want to point out, though, in the manga, I really liked this. She's like, get your butts in. Look at his face. Look how happy he is to see Ruruka. Like, Ichigo really cares about Ruruka. She's such a good friend to him. I love that. And then I love Yukio's like, I'm here too. But yeah, like this moment here, like, yeah, they did a good job of animating him being so excited to see her. I love that. And he's like, I'm here. Yukio is great. So yeah, he's like, I'm sure you can see this is my power. Come inside so we can talk. So they get inside, and Yoruichi's like, so, what do you want me to explain? And they did a good job of animating this part from the manga, where he's like, everything. He's like, I need you to explain everything. And this part was really cute. I love his little arms waving up and down, where he's like, I've been left in the dark, what's going on? And then Chad and Orihime are like, yeah, we were kind of told back in Hueco Mundo, you know, so sorry you weren't kept up to date. This part's really funny. I like how Yoruichi looks there as well. That's great. So basically, we've figured out through this that the Dongai connects the world living in the Soul Society. So around that are these areas known as Kyogoku, where the fallen Konpaku exist. So, and the Garganta exists to fill in all the spaces in between. So if you've been watching Bleach or seeing it from the very, very beginning, like Ichigo trained in one of those pocket dimensions with his dad before he faced Aizen. So he faced him and he trained there. I do remember that. And the idea that the souls travel between the real world and the Soul Society, like there's these different routes. And even you've passed through it a number of times. The spiritual pressure is unstable in the Garganta. And that's where they had like the sweepers that would like come through. They kind of abandoned that plot line with the sweepers. That got abandoned like after the first arc. Kubo didn't do anything with that after that. But for some reason, only Kyogoku continued to exist inside as a reishi space. The only thing that's known is that the Kyogoku can maintain itself as a reishi space because it has a different structure. Kisuke figured he'd take advantage of that. And so then we see him finding Yukio and Ruruka. And so they explain their abilities, which I love Yukio's reaction. They're like, the ability to freely use the power of electricity. And he's like, that's not right, but whatever. Love that. And then the ability to freely move subjects in and out of objects. And Ruruka's not even thinking about them talking about her power. She's like, the fact that you all can find anybody is scary. Yes. Kisuke's the mob. Yes, in fact. Also, I love that her little hat has these ears that she hits Orihime with. That's so cute. So yeah, they use Ruruka's ability to carry a small Kyogoku in a box, and it was altered into a room using the ability. And we completed it, and now we can travel back to the Spirit Palace, to the Royal Palace, and make a move. So, I mean, it's cool. It's nice using the world building to explain it and use it at its advantage. I mean, I really appreciate that at this point in the show, whenever they do something like this and the readers are like, well, how did you make that work? And then they explain something that's been around since the beginning of the show. It's nice. I appreciate it. I think it's a great move. I like Ruruka's outfit. I don't know why she has the suspenders. I guess because she didn't wear a belt. And she has like the crop top. And of course, Yukio's wearing the same thing he wore during the Fullbring arc. One thing that we should point out as they're going back up to do the surprise attack, we have all this is going on as the castle's being built. We've already gone through these scenes. Let's get back to it. Yep. Again, the anime's reworked a lot of the manga scenes. Although I will say the animation with all of the little orbs and stuff as they're reconstructing the castle is really well done. Like everybody, I love that you have the black and the blue and the red in the background. And then you have like the golden glow around Shinji and the others. It looks great. Like visually Studio Pro, it looks fabulous. Although freaking Ukitake and then Shunsui saying, I'm not going to let your sacrifice be in vain. Shunsui's like, y'all. Shunsui's like, he got dark. You killed my boyfriend, and now you killed my life partner. I'm done. So yeah, we're going to surprise this. Also want to point out real quick, as they're talking about surprising the attack, Grimmjow is up on the top part because he's a cat. Because he's like a little cat, and cats always have to be at the tallest points. He's like a little cat watching down on them. That's so cute. Love that. So yeah, so they're talking about going like, we know you can do this, Ichigo. Like, we're counting on you. What are Yhwach's powers? And Ichigo's like, I don't know. And then Orihime is like, I wish we had asked Osho more about this. I'm going to come back to this one moment here in a second. But I'm going to come back to that. But yeah, Orihime is like, I wish we had, asked about Osho about what Yhwach's powers were. And so then I like Ruruka's like, stop whining. We got dragged into this. You're going to make everybody feel gloomy. And that's when she smacks Orihime with her ears on her hood. It's really cute. Mm-hmm. And so then Grimmjow is like, why are you on our side? He's like, I'm not on your side. If Hueco Mundo's gone, if we let Yhwach have his way, Hueco Mundo's gone. And if Hueco Mundo's gone, where would I kill you? Look at these two. Look at them. Look at them. Frickin' saying them lines. Come on now. So anyway, we go back to the palace. And we get this one moment where, I'm going to go back to this scene here, where Uryu is thinking about the moment of Ichigo slashing the Soul King using the Quincy powers. So he saw that. He saw that Ichigo has Quincy blood in his system, and then saw him walk away, or fall away, and then Uryu's, eyes open up. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. In the manga, this scene is cut, but they're just hanging out in the royal palace, in a side waiting room. And they're like, shouldn't we be... Lily's saying, shouldn't we be doing something, is addressing every one of my concerns from the last episode. I was like, oh my god. And then Askin's like, what are we supposed to do? If we were on the same level as His Majesty, if we were on the same level, we'd be consumed by him too. Askin brings up a good point. Askin's like, if we were as strong as His Majesty, he'd be trying to kill us. And I'm like, basically Askin's confirming that he's aware that Yhwach's using them all. And Uryu's just sitting there in the corner in the manga, and that's when Valkyrie's like, what's the matter, newcomer? You look worried. Don't worry about His Majesty. He'll take over Rayo and become even stronger. And in this moment, Uryu's like, yeah. And the way Uryu looks, he's like, yeah, Yhwach becoming stronger. I totally want that, being suspicious. Also, standing outside taking watch, Lily looks suspicious of Uryu, and so does Hoshvalt. I think that Askin and Valkyrie are not suspicious, and Pernita is not suspicious. Pernita doesn't care. I don't think Askin cares, and Valkyrie is giving Uryu the benefit of the doubt. Lily and Hoshvalt in the manga, they know something's up. But anyway, so we get old Yhwach gaining all the powers, and I kind of am a little bit sad that the anime did not adapt it the way that the manga does it, because I think the manga does it really well. So he's basically absorbed all of the Soul King at this point, and he's like, my sons. And then we see like they all freak out from seeing him look very monstrous, except for Hashval. Hashval is not surprised, but in this he goes, it's a new world. And then he's like, you see all this like stuff like cascading, his power cascading down the steps and stuff. And Askin's like, what is that mysterious thing leaking out of his majesty? It's covering the entire room. Like, Askin's kind of freaked out. And then he's like, is that you, Hashval? Like, he can't see him, which is ironic because of the eyes. And then he turns around. The manga makes it look really good. Like, that moment he turns around and they all freak out. Askin takes a step back. I want you all to see this. I love the way that Kubo draws Askin. It's amazing. Like, Askin takes a step back. The look on his face when he bumps into Hashval. Like, here, in the anime, it's fine. But look at how Kubo draws his eye set. Like, he looks back at Hashval like there is panic in that man's face. There is freaking fear. That looks so good. And he's like, calm down, Loch Navar. And he's like, what do you mean, calm down? Doesn't he feel anything? Seeing his majesty like some kind of monster. Like, Askin's drawn so well. Freaking love him. It's so good. So yeah. He's like, this is what it's like to be overflowing with power. The manga does it really good. The manga did this scene really good. And the anime's fine, but I feel like they kind of just like missed out on a couple of the expressions and didn't get them as good as the manga. Yep. And then here we go. We're going to start rebuilding everything. Yep. Gonna start rebuilding everything. And Askin's freaking out, being like, we're dead if we fall from here. And then he's like, guide us, your majesty. And again, Hashval doesn't waver. He's all about it. There's this moment here. I don't know if they're going to show it to us in the anime, where as they're standing up, he like bends down and says, such magnificent power. Yep. And they're all just standing there watching. Yeah, there's a shot here where Uryu looks over at Hashval, but like Uryu just looks like he's standing there without any expression. In the manga, Uryu looks a little concerned. He's like, Hashval's not freaked out about this, and I'm a little concerned about that. Like, it's very noticeable. I'm like, especially when Hashval says, whenever Yhwach says, Hashval, my first son. The first Stern, assuming that means the first Stern Ritter he gave a letter to. Stand behind me and follow in my path. I shall first reinvent our nation. To note, you've had 1,000 years to think about interior decorating, Yhwach. Some people just don't have taste. Some people just don't have good taste. I'm just saying. Because it looks pretty standard. But yeah, also I like the Kyogyoku, like the pathways and everything. Love that. Like that little metaphor there. So yeah, they end up going up there. Ganju tries to give a little talk to Yukio, and Yukio's not having it. Ganju's, Ganju, he's a Shiba, and he's got Shiba pride, Kubo also makes this little note saying there's a little drawstring in Ruruka's hoodie that makes her little wings flap. That's freaking kawaii. I love it. So then Ruruka, Ichigo's like, you need to stay here too. And I love how Ichigo tells her, she's like, you can't be serious. And he's like, I've entered the Kyogyoku once before. For somebody that likes cute things, there's nothing there cute. And then he's like, you went out of your way for us to do this, didn't you? And then he says, thanks. The way he says thanks and the look in his eyes, it's just like the manga. And then to get her expression, like, it's really good. They did a good job of animating that. I need you all to understand that I really liked the Fullbring arc. I thought it was really refreshing. I really liked it. If you're going to follow up Ichigo versus Aizen with anything, the Fullbring arc was a lot of fun. I didn't like the ending of the arc, but y'all probably know why if you've read the manga. But I was actually low-key, like, kind of starting to ship Ruruka and Ichigo. I was like, wow, they have really good chemistry. Wow, they really get along. Wow, I really like this. Now, obviously, we know who he ends up with, but I was just like, I like it. And I really do feel like, even though Ichigo doesn't like her back that way, they are friends. And she's kind of like, she's also kind of a mixture of Orihime and Rukia, because not only of her body type, but like of her personality. And I feel like, you know, she's a mixture of Rukia and Orihime as well in that sense. And Ichigo becoming friends with her. I mean, it's not surprising. He's friends with Rukia. He's friends with Orihime. Shouldn't be a surprise. So yeah. And then Ganju's like such a big uncle where he's like, you've grown up, Ichigo. And he's like, have I? And he's like, well, actually, maybe you've always been this way. Love that. Love that. Like, chapter 627 is called The Creation. I love that page. They adapted it really well, showing Orihime and Chad looking at each other like, damn straight, Ichigo's a good guy. So, yeah. So, the Vandenreich cityscape that's covering the Seretei is ripped off, getting reforged. And we have our group. We have Ichigo and his crew getting ready to enter the Royal Palace. We have Urahara with his crew entering the Royal Palace. And then we have the big open it up, and there it is. Which, honestly, Yhwach, not a great interior decorator. Not a great interior decorator. It looks pretty bad. Looks exactly just like a city. What you expecting? I'm like, you could at least give it some flourish. Give it some flowers or something. But yeah, I want to get to this part here where we show the giant freaking, yeah, there's the Soul King's palace, which it was a floating pill in the sky, so can we really be too judgmental? But yeah, he rebuilt the palace in his own image. So yeah, then we have chapter 68, New World Orders, and we find out that the royal palace was brought down by Yhwach, and now it's in the hands of the enemy. We get to see, okay, there is this part here where Yoruichi's brother, where he shows up and he's like, that's my sister's spiritual pressure. I can sense her. And Yoruichi's like, oh yeah, I have a brother. And Ichigo's like, you never said you. He's like, I never knew you had a brother. And she's like, what are you, my fiance? Which, God, no. But I love this part here. They cut it out of the anime where they're like, she's like, oh, he's the brother that inherited the family, like the clan after I was banished. And so they imagine him at first as this big hulking man that was like Yoruichi's younger brother. And he's like, I am the Shihoin family heir and ultimate Hakudo master. And they're like, I wonder if that's what he looks like. And then she goes, wait. What about me conjures up that image? She's like, he looks a lot like me. And you are expecting them to think of this because they literally look the same. And instead they're like look-alike, and they imagine him as a little cat, and she's like, not like that. Like, that was really funny. Honestly, with Yoruichi and her brother, I get Anthe vibes from Revolutionary Girl Utena, especially because they have like the dark skin and the purple hair, and Anthe has dark skin and purple hair, so, you know. Then we establish the whole thing about the reishi and the areas under their control, so it's not going to be as easy to get around. It just makes sense that they would be controlling it. It shouldn't be that difficult for their leader to do so, especially for someone who can kill Reo. If Reo was killed by the hands of our enemy, then we just have to defeat the enemy and choose a new king. If Ukitake could talk, he'd probably say the same thing. Now, of course, they're not talking about the big elephant in the room, which would be who in the world would take the place of the Soul King. We're not talking about that, but we're going to get to that at some point. Meanwhile, this castle's getting created. It does look really good. Like the castle in the manga. Kubo hates drawing backgrounds. You just can tell he hates drawing backgrounds, but when he commits, they do look really, really good. Like, Kubo's a really talented artist. So yeah, we get the castle, the enemy stronghold, and he's like, it looks like they're inviting us in. Like, Shunsui just mad. At this point, Shunsui's like, I've been taken away from my partner. I've been made to work. I'm in charge now of everybody. He's like, I hate this. And we end the episode where we have Haschwald announcing that everyone is there. Everyone's there. I do like the magenta vibes here. It's really nice. He's like, this castle, and he goes, it's not a castle, it's Welt. We're getting the German name up in here. The castle's become the foundation of the new world, the one and only true world. One day it will be called War Welt, which is Castle of the True World, which you can see as like the eyeball above his head. Creepy. And I just want to point out, you can see in this moment that Aryu's looking a little nervous at this point. you see it, you see a glance, you see a glimpse of him here, but in the anime, for someone who is a big old betrayer, for somebody who was, betraying Ichigo and the others and getting praised by the other Stern Ritter, Uryu looks a little nervous there. Imagine that. Imagine that. So we get the first 2 pages of chapter 629 as we end this, and that is where he says, Warwelt, Castle of the True World. This is what this castle will be called in the future. And so, yeah, God, he looks so creepy there. Maybe that'll be the thumbnail. What will be the thumbnail? Maybe that will be. That's a good shot too. And then Hoshvalt says, then we'll kill every last one of them to realize the future that's reflected in your eyes at the foundation of the new world. And then that shot of Hoshvalt saying Warwelt, that shot of him saying that, and then we get the close-up of him with the magenta. Oh, he looks so good there. He looks like Sailor Moon Batty. He looks like Queen Beryl's right-hand man. Like, I'm just... Yes, please. Hoshvalt looks amazing there. And that's where the episode ends. Awesome. So excited. So excited. Next week is Gate of the Sun. I am so ready. So I've talked a while about this episode set, but honestly, we got a good, let me get my bookmark in here and show y'all where we're at. We are a solid like 2/3, halfway, a little more than halfway through this volume. I'm super excited, but I know that you all said that core 3 and 4 have lots of new material added. So we're on volume 69 and there's only 1, 2, 3, 4. We only got 5.5 volumes left to cover a lot of ground. So it's going to be crazy. But anyway, I'm excited to hear your thoughts down below, what you thought of this episode set. And I will see you all next week. I'm super excited. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back very soon with more Bleach 1000 Year Blood War arc. And I'll see you then.